like to come to our next session here that is about bias and fairness. And I'm really happy to welcome Sigrid Berge van Rooijen, the AI business consultant, AR Health. And Sigrid helps healthcare companies implement AI-driven solutions to improve patient outcomes and supports clinicians in delivering better care. Welcome, Sigrid, and over to you, please. And sorry to everybody who cannot see the new presentation here, then please refresh your browser. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tamara. So hi, I'm Sigrid. I work with healthcare companies to help them understand how they can use AI, how to implement AI solutions, and also considering the risks of AI. I also get trainings on the topic. And today I'm very excited to talk to you about bias and fairness in AI solutions. You can just start the presentation, Tamara. So in AI, there are, it's not only, a wonderful world where everything is perfect. There are some biases and there are fairness issues when it comes to AI in clinical research, but also in AI in general. Next slide, please. For example, did you know that women have a 50% higher chance of receiving the wrong initial diagnosis after a heart attack? Mainly because women can experience other symptoms than men. If you look at this slide, and I'm sorry, I cannot use a pointer because I had to call in from my computer, from my phone today. But if you look at the symptoms, you can see that women have far more symptoms and diverse set of symptoms and a bit vague as well compared to men. And this is an example of bias in healthcare in general, not in just AI, but where doctors and patients, they are expecting all the symptoms to be similar between men and women, but that is not the case. Another example is from the US, where an algorithm was used to predict complications during vaginal births after C-section. The algorithm incorporated race as a factor, but this led to unequal risk assessments for Black women versus white women. Unfortunately, there are so many examples about how bias in AI tools impact health and patient outcomes. But bias in AI tools are health-related and non-health related. But the challenge with health and clinical tools is that you're gambling with people's lives and the quality of life. Next slide, please. And then there will be a poll. So have you ever seen clinical studies excluding women of childbearing age? I just want to know that, so if you can put the poll up.
Yes, thank you very much. And the poll is available for everyone on the screen now. Once again, the question, have you ever seen clinical studies excluding women of childbearing age? And you can select one answer, please. Fantastic. Thank you all very much. And I'm going to close the poll now and present the results. So here we go.
Yeah, thank you, Tamara. So the results, as you can see, 54% have seen this in clinical studies. Surprisingly, 30% have not seen this. This is surprising to me. And you have 16% that have not thought about it. I've never worked with clinical studies myself, but I have looked into whether I could participate in studies. And this was one of the reasons I could not because of my age. And this shows that the data that you're collecting in clinical research, because you're excluding quite a big proportion of the population, can lead to bias later. I'm going to talk a bit more about AI in clinical research. I'm going to come back to this as well. Next slide, Tamara. Thank you. Because as you've already heard today about their different type of AI tools. So from home assistants like Siri and Alexa, email spam filters, GPS route suggestions, and generative AI. But in medicine and clinical research, there are also quite a lot of different type of AI tools you can use. So for example, you have AI for patient recruitment, where AI algorithms can analyze big amounts of electronic health records to identify potential candidates for clinical trials on specific inclusion and exclusion criteria. This can really speed up recruitment processes, reduce the time it takes to find suitable participants from weeks to minutes. Secondly, you have AI for real-time safety monitoring. So AI systems continuously monitor clinical trial data, analyzing patient information in real time to detect potential safety concerns or adverse events, which again can enable immediate action to protect patient safety and ensure regulatory compliance. You can also use AI for protocol design optimization. So by analyzing historical trial data, scientific literature to suggest optimal study design, including patient selection criteria, endpoint measurements, and dosing schedules. This can lead to more efficient and effective trial protocols, potentially increasing chances of trial success. And then you have AI for automated document review. So by reviewing and analyzing regulatory documents, and you can identify errors, inconsistencies, or missing information. So this can ensure compliance with regulatory standards and accelerate the submission process. But yeah, and there's a couple of more benefits as well with AI for clinical research that are not mentioned on this slide. But for example, you can have more accurate diagnosis. So by using images to detect cancer, but with that you can accurate diagnose, but you can also be able to see the effect of your treatment. You can have faster drug development by streamlining processes, reducing time to market, cost reductions by automating tasks, lowering operational costs, and improve data analysis. So for more insights in an efficient way. Next slide, please. But there are some issues, and AI is not free of flaws. So I have a question for you again. Why are there biases in AI tools? So there are 4 questions here, and it's a multiple choice.
Yes, right. We have 4 answers displayed on the screen now to the question, why are there biases in AI tools? And here you can select all that apply or that you wish. Okay. I see the answers are coming in pretty quick here. That's great. So I'm going to stop here and present the results now. We have them on the screen. Yes, Sigrid.
I don't have them on the screen, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good. Then let me guide you, please. We have the unrepresentative or insufficient training data with a 26% rate here. Then we have answer B, developer biases and lack of diversity in development teams with 23%. 24% is algorithmic design choices that reinforce existing biases. And again, 26% historical prejudices reflected in data sets. So all is almost the same here.
Yeah.
The answers, yeah, equaled out. Very good.
Good. Can you also see if people press more than one? Is that possible to see?
No, I'm sorry, I cannot tell you that. Please excuse.
No, I want to know everyone's answer. No, so to this answer, actually all of them apply. So, and I think that shows a bit in the results as well, that is quite equal. So all of these are reasons for biases in AI tools. So having with the training data, developer bias and lack of a diversity in teams, algorithmic design choices, and historical prejudices in data sets. So some of them are quite much about data. And that's the thing, that the risks of AI doesn't come from anywhere. Much of it stems from one big issue, and that is your current data. So your algorithm is as unbiased as your data. So if your data is not biased, well, then you have a chance that your algorithm is also not biased. So there are a couple of different types of biases in AI in clinical research. There are more than this. I'm just going to highlight these three. One of them is selection bias. So data being used to train AI algorithm does not adequately represent a diverse population that clinical trials aim to study. So this can lead that AI systems are making recommendations or predictions that are skewed towards certain demographic groups, potentially excluding or misrepresenting others. So for example, with the one that we had with women, if they're excluded, well, then you have skewed data towards men. So it's really about the data. Secondly, you have the data bias in general. So that occurs when the data sets used to train AI algorithms contain inherent biases, such as historical disparities in health access or treatment. So an AI system trained on biased data can perpetuate and amplify existing inequalities in healthcare. So say that you have minority groups, they would less likely visit the doctor when they are sick, or they might get a different type of treatment when they're sick. Well, that's going to be reflected in this data with the data bias, because if they get different treatment or later treatment, or for an example, I think I saw half a year ago that the study was done in the Netherlands, where people believed that Black people had a higher tolerance for pain. Well, that impacts what type of treatment they will receive. And these type of data biases can be amplified with AI systems. Then you have algorithmic biases as well. And that occurs when the AI model itself, regardless of the data, produces biased results due to its design or the assumptions built into it. So even with diverse and representative data, an AI system can still produce biased outcomes if the algorithm itself is flawed. Next slide, please. These are just some examples of bias of AI in clinical research. So just with examples we came with earlier. So when you have patient recruitment, you can have selection bias. So if algorithms are trained on non-representative data sets, it can lead to underrepresentation of certain groups, which means that the findings are not as general as you would have hoped it would be. For real-time safety monitoring, if there's data bias in this, from underrepresented populations can lead to inadequate detection of adverse events from, for example, minority groups, compromising patient safety. This can also lead to false positive alerts, leading to unnecessary interventions. So imagine that you get so many alerts that you need to go and check some safety or adverse events. Well, people are going to be sick and tired of your algorithm that's not functioning as it should be. For protocol design optimization, it really highly relies on historical data. So that one potentially perpetuates past biases and inefficiencies in trial designs. So this can lead to exclusion on innovative approaches or emerging therapies. AI can also design impractical or unethical study protocols because AI doesn't have ethics. Some might want to argue with me on that one, but it doesn't have, it misses these nuances that people might have. Most of them, so we do. Then fourth, automated document review. So AI systems can misinterpret complex medical terminology or nuanced information. It can lead to critical errors in data extraction and analysis, and that important information is overlooked or misclassified. Sometimes we have these clinical terminologies that are difficult for a general AI tool to understand. So we'll miss that essence of a clinical note, for example, which a human would see. There are a couple of other risks as well. For example, over-reliance on AI-generated insights. So researchers might become overly dependent on AI-generated analysis and recommendations, so they might overlook important nuances or context that human expertise might catch. And then you have data privacy and security breaches when unauthorized access to or leakage of sensitive patient information used for AI-driven clinical research. And this is important because that could compromise patients' confidentiality, violate privacy regulations, but also reduce the trust in AI-powered clinical research. So imagine all the benefits there are with AI in clinical research. If you lose the trust, well, then you can't really benefit by them. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, a bit back. Thank you, I didn't see this. So there are different sources of unfairness in AI in clinical trials. You have demographic imbalances in historical trial data. So AI models trained on past clinical trial data that lacks diversity, and that will perpetuate underrepresentation of certain groups, leading to biased predictions and recommendations. You have socioeconomic factors, where an AI system favoring recruitment of participants from higher socioeconomic backgrounds, which limits access to trials for underprivileged groups and reduces the generalizability of results. Sorry, that is a difficult word for me. I don't know, I'm struggling with that word. And then you have cultural and logistic biases, where AI chatbots, for example, or language models are struggling with cultural nuances and non-dominant languages. This can lead to miscommunication, reduced engagement, and higher dropout rates for certain groups. And I don't think I need to tell you what that could impact, again, with the results of this or the data you would have from these AI applications. Thank you. There's a big issue and a big talk about black boxes when it comes to AI. And for many people, AI is a black box. You look at the box, but you don't really know, one, what it is and what's inside this box. You don't understand how it comes up with a prediction it has or the answer it gives. So it's difficult to trust this black box or understand why you should trust it. And so it's really about the transparency of this, and having a black box can reduce the trust of a system. And it makes it difficult to identify or address potential biases or errors in a model's reasoning, again, leading to potential unfair or unsafe decisions. So my recommendation when it comes to black boxes is to, and also when it comes to implementing AI tools for clinical research, is to prioritize use of interpretable AI models or implement techniques to enhance the explainability of complex models. But that can provide a clear documentation of the model's decision-making for review by clinicians or ethicists or the ones who are going to use this model, so that you know and understand why it tells you a specific thing. Yeah, let's just skip this one due to time. Thank you. So due to time, I have 2 minutes left, so I need to ramble on. But here are some ways to mitigate biases in AI tools. And one of them is about the data and data auditing. So by examining training data used by external AI tools for representativeness across demographic groups, it can help you identify potential underrepresentation or issues in data that can lead to biased outcomes. And because this really, like, biased outcomes you don't want, it would really impact the AI algorithm. Then you have fairness metrics as well. Could the ones coming in mute yourself, please?
One moment, please. Yes, everybody, please go on mute. I am already preparing the panel discussion here.
Thank you. Yeah, so fairness metric evaluation, where you can use statistical partiality, equal opportunity, or predictive equity to assess AI tool performance across different groups. Interdisciplinary reviews, to have a team with different type of experts and backgrounds to reviewing AI tools and their outputs. And last, continuously monitor and update the AI tools that you're using. because if a treatment, for example, changes, well, the AI tool will have a different output over time, and it would also evolve over time. So it's important to regularly assess the AI tool performance because biases can emerge in the tool as well. And with this, I want to highlight that AI can also help you with mitigating some of these. Because of time, I'm not going to go that much into it, but it can mitigate both and enhance and analyze data sets to identify bias, and it can be used to improve fairness and also for continuously monitoring. With a disciplinary review, it's interdisciplinary review, sorry, it's not that much it can be done, as I can see. Next slide, and next slide again. Next slide, Tamara, thank you. So just to end it off with transparency and explainability, it was a bit about the black box. I assume that the participants will be able to have the slides afterwards. Then you can take a look at the recommendations regarding if you want to implement an AI tool, what you can do to ensure transparency and explainability of the AI tool.
Yes, Sigrid, that's right. We are going to send everybody the slides and the link to the recording later.
Yeah, thank you. You can just skip this then, so then people can look at it. So which of the following methods can help reduce bias in AI tools for clinical research? If we have time.
Yes, we do. We do. For one more poll here, which I'm going to activate now. As Sigrid already said, which of the following methods can help reduce biases in AI tools for clinical research? What do you think? And you can select more than one answer. Which of the following methods can help reduce bias in AI tools for clinical research? Diverse training data, for example, or regular bias audits? What about interdisciplinary development teams or transparency in AI algorithms? What do you think? And I just see here in the chat, yes, you can select more than one answer. That's possible here. All right, I'm closing the poll now and present the results. And let me guide you, please, Sigrid. So we have, almost equal. 25%, again, 25% of our participants said diverse training data. Again, 25% regular bias audits, 24% voted for interdisciplinary development teams, and 25% for transparency in AI algorithms.
Yeah, well, I'm very pleased to see this because it seems like people have understood the essence of it. So there are multiple methods you can use to reduce bias, and I think all of these are important to consider. Just to summarize, AI has potential to reduce trial times, regulatory approval, and trial costs. So there are a lot of benefits for using AI in clinical trials. But you have to be aware of the biases in AI tools. And that's based on the data that we've already collected for years and years and years now. That's creating these biases. But there are ways to mitigate it. So both from a development point of view, but also when you're implementing AI tools, I would recommend being critical as well, which type of AI tools you're using, and look for transparent and explainable AI tools. Thank you so much for this bit rushed presentation, but you will have the presentation as well, so you can go back and look at how you can mitigate AI or biases in AI tools.
Fantastic, Sigrid.
I want to add one more comment to this, because my feeling is that due to the technical issues we experience, I think the platform exposes a load issue, that the poll data is not correct data what we are seeing. If with the next polls we are getting again equal distribution, then that is confirmed. So maybe we can do a survey afterwards again.